Woo! Happy Onewheel Wednesday, everybody. My name is Scot, and I'm excited to be with you today. We're revealing the mystery man behind the brand, the Onewheel brand, Chameleon Rails. Many of you know he's the most connected man in the community, in my opinion. And we're going to get to him and talk about what he has planned for the new year. He creates so many of the trophies for all of the epic Onewheel races. And let's also celebrate this week. It is the kickoff to the ORL race season, the Onewheel race season. We're excited about this. I mean, it kicks off tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. So somebody's going to be the clear champion this weekend in the Onewheel world. And we're going to be well on our way to see who's going to be contending for the Race for the Rail crown. I'm joined with my good friend, my wife, Holly Mendenhall, who's got her hair all curly today.
Curly day.
Curly day.
Let's have some fun.
Yep, fun is in store for us. And then we're also joined with her almost twin, Lily, who has her hair curly today.
Same outfit, same hair.
Yeah, they're rocking the brand.
We know what's up today.
It's all about the brand. Yeah, right. Well done, ladies. Here's the deal. Fill us in the chat. If you agree with me that you can tell a lot from the way a lady does her hair, what kind of attitude she's going to have today. These ladies are very playful. They got the hair down.
Said this on
no.
Different podcast?
I think it's a different podcast. It was for the other channel and stuff. We were just talking about that, and I'm just reiterating today. Today, you've been peppy today, a little playful, and it's all because the hairstyle told me that's what you're going to be today. Yeah, see, you're already smiling.
Yes.
You're already smiling.
Let's go.
When these ladies have their hair up in like a bun on the top of their head, it's like, okay, they mean business today. They're going to get a lot of crap done, and don't cross them. No, now you're just messing.
What
She's
does
messing.
this hairstyle
I'm trying to
say?
Foof, if it's just a foof says,
that's weird.
I'm on the struggle bus. And probably best to just check in to see how my heart is.
Yeah, struggle bus.
Yeah, it's struggle bus.
Yeah.
It's like something's going on. It didn't go right. And so we're so glad you're hanging with us. Thank you for all those that subscribe to our YouTube channel. We understand that it would be just as fun for us to talk on podcast, but less fulfilling if people didn't watch. So we thank you that you are always logging in and paying attention to what we're doing here at Scot Mendenhall on YouTube and versus social medias and stuff. We did launch a brand new logo for Scot Mendenhall and Friends.
That
intro?
Yeah, the intro. We kicked that off last week. This is the old right here. This is the new Scot Mendenhall and Friends. That's what you'll see so many places now. Scot Mendenhall and Friends. And then we have the old logo here that was made by Chameleon Rails. This with our light. I'm sure we'll get a new plate there that will put it in there and have the new logo rocking and rolling. It lights so well. We love this lit thing. That was the old school. The new school is a new dawn of the Scot Mendenhall and Friends brand.
A new day.
It's a new age. It's a new. Something's afoot.
Good.
And so what we've done is we've got our hands in a lot of cookie jars, and we want to make sure we're keeping them for the most part separated. So what we've done is we've created with the SMF, we've used the letter F to represent three things. Ooh, three things. So you got Scot Mendenhall and Friends, then you have Scot Mendenhall and Family, and you have Scot Mendenhall and Faith. And so we've created unique YouTube channels, this one being the Scot Mendenhall and Friends. Woo-hoo! You found it. It's just Scot Mendenhall. It kind of has a hodgepodge of everything. Then you have, this YouTube channel looks like this. If you go to it and you haven't subscribed, this is what you'll get. If we can put that on the screen, this is a screenshot of...
I love the doodle behind that.
It's our new race jersey. We'll get to that. But this is this channel. Go ahead and click the subscribe. Then we'll go on to the next. This is Scot Mendenhall and Family, I believe. This is what it looks like. It is podcast style.
I made it on there.
It is going to be a parenting podcast that we're in the mix of creating a new set, and we're going to be kicking that off shortly. So you can subscribe there if you want to hear family content, how to raise kids of all ages. Right there, those podcast styles gives you a little bit of cheat codes into raising 0 to 5, 5 to 12, 12 to 18, and 18 and beyond. So we give you some cheat codes into those things, and then we're going to sit down with Lily as she's a newfound pregnant woman, and we'll go through some of those things. So that's going to be there in the family, Scot Mendenhall and Family. And then we got Scot Mendenhall and Faith. This is what this looks like. You can tell that the icon is the same, SMF, with just a little word in the F for Faith, Family, and Friends. You got to pay attention to the colored logo to tell you. And this one is where we talk a lot about our beliefs in our walk with Jesus. And so just being able to, we know some people are not into all of these different things. Some of you are just strictly one wheel. Stay put right here if you enjoy it. Some of you want other content that we are producing. We're creating safe spots and fun spots for you. Does it make sense? Did I clearly say that?
Yeah,
Well
I'm
done.
excited for this.
Well
So
done.
you guys can all go subscribe to those different channels. We have like 2 subscribers right now. I don't even think like that means only 2 out of the 3 on this channel currently that are live have subscribed to those.
So how do we get to
It's
it?
tricky because we're kicked off brand new channels. You've got to go to my main channel, this one, Scott Mendenhall, and you can go to the links. If we'll put up the Scott Mendenhall family one, I'll kind of point you. I can't laser point it or anything, but it's the same spot when you put the logo up. So you see where it says Scott Mendenhall family, and you go down the links. There are other links to those, and you can go subscribe, and you can start following along in those journeys as we're building the brand and building those channels out. So you can always follow us on Instagram. That's some housekeeping stuff. Sorry to bog you down with housekeeping stuff. The last thing we got for you is a brand new racing jersey, which we just got confirmation we will have at the first race for us, which is next weekend in Texas. We will be rocking that out there.
We will be rocking it.
We will.
Our production line's not out yet.
Nope, but you'll be able to see it in person. This is what the new jersey looks like. 100% authentically made here in our
Ooh,
studios.
that's sweet.
So many Easter eggs on there. That
see it in
is a
person.
prototype jersey. We have made tweaks and corrected spelling. So if you pause that and go, this word's misspelled, we have changed some of those things. It
We
was just...
fixed it all.
We fixed it all. It's ready to crank. Yours will look slightly different. If you pay attention on the back, there's a blank top up on the shoulders. We are going to create a unique race jersey, and then for all of our Scott Mendenhall friends that want to rock them, we'll have the different version. So there you go. Housekeeping 101. Anything else to add, Lily, Holly? We nailed
Love it.
It's all right.
I'm excited.
Go subscribe to all those things. You're gonna love it on all of those. And probably, weekly we will update those spots with content, but probably more closely to 5 days a week. We're gonna put shorts on those and content for you to enjoy. Okay, let's get to today's guest. We have him in the guest room. He's been waiting.
This is so
He's so
exciting.
patient. He is the most connected man you will ever meet in the Onewheel
Yes,
community.
that's a good way to
He
put
has
it.
so many surprising features like long hair. You didn't know it? It's all tucked in a hat all the time, but it's long. It's like long. I think it might be down to his hips at this point.
Wow.
He is creative. His ability to create stuff with metal and woods and make trophies that everyone covets is a supernatural skill that he has. He is a superhero because he can take things from his mind and make it a reality. This guy is the man, the myth, and the legend behind Chameleon Rails. Everyone say hello to Kevin.
Woo!
How we doing, Kevin?
What's up, Onewheel fam?
Oh, we couldn't hear you there. Try that again, Kevin. How are you doing?
Good.
Ah.
What's up?
All right, man. I'm just trying to figure out, is it cold in your neck of the woods? What's the weather where you're located? You're looking like it's a little chilly.
It's a little chilly in my basement, but it's 65, I think. Out
Oh,
today.
Nice.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
We'll come over. Is the grass growing? Just for us Minnesotans, just help us. Because we're months away from that. Is the grass growing or flowers? Like, what's the status on nature out there?
Yeah, grass is starting to get green. We've
Amazing.
had our beginning of our rain showers. So, yeah.
Okay.
Spring
It's
is
rocking
sprung.
and rolling. Spring is sprung. It
That's
has on the
awesome.
calendar here, but it is not actually in effect. We had snow on Sunday, and there's snow in our forecast still. So we're excited to go down to Texas. Hey, are you going to the race this weekend? What's your schedule this year? Where can we see you out and about? Because we'll get to what Chameleon Rails is, but you're a man of the community. You're everywhere. What races are you planning on showing up to this year, Kevin?
So I've kind of committed to just our Dirt Surfers Enduro series. Those
Okay.
3 stops.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 spots that I want to spend most of my time at.
Ooh.
However, I won't be at Lemonade this year. However, I did make some of their trophies, and I sent them off this morning. Actually,
Yeah, I think we have a picture of
Do
those.
we have a picture of those trophies, or we have pictures of trophies that you've made, right?
I sent some pictures of the.
Yeah, those are the lemonade ones.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Those are sweet.
Are they like? I just see a ribbon. Are they like a metal, like that would go around
So
your neck?
they're like a wearable medal. Yeah,
Oh,
But then they also have
Nice.
the stands that so you can display them on your trophy shelf or whatever.
That's sick.
That
Good
is
job.
awesome, actually. I'm just thinking the presentation of
that
the
looks
medals. I
great.
think that's pretty cool, and then you can still display it when you get home. Where seriously?
Yeah.
Because you've made. We own so many of, or have been received. I don't own any of your trophies. The only trophy I got really is this beautiful light.
Thank you for
Thank you
giving
for
him
that. That is
Yeah, it's a sweet light.
special little light for us. But my kids have won trophies you've made. Where do you find the inspiration to like make these things? Because they're all so unique.
Honestly, I don't know. Like my real life job is that's what I do. My real life job is I just build custom things
Wow.
for whatever use that the customer might want. So I honestly like sites like Pinterest and Etsy and stuff. I really don't look at those things because I have enough ideas floating around in my head that I don't need to be bogged down with other people's ideas.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of where that's where
So
they
you
come
just
from.
That's a
kinda-
true
So you're thinking it
artist.
up.
Okay, so when our race directors come to you and say, "Hey," so like I'm thinking of like Windman, right? I remember when you were putting those trophies together and just talking in it. I think Brooke said something like, "It's got to, you got to have an up north
north
feel, woodsy,
Mm.
So you just take a couple of those ideas and just say, "Great, I can just create whatever I want."
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
And some of those limitations, because you got to put limitations on certain things, so you know how to start building them in my head. But is budget, like how much they're going to cost, and I started making them just at cost, whatever the materials cost, as a thing to give back to the Onewheel community. Um, so that's kind of where we've always landed, but I still have to have a cost to know how to build it, what it should look like, all those things. So that's where I actually have to start first is price of like what's in the race budget for
Yeah.
those things, and then I can kind of build backwards.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
I'm,
obviously, the race event logos are usually want to be incorporated, so we'll get those, and sometimes we got to modify them or whatever to fit our needs. But
That's
for the
so
most part,
cool.
yeah, we come up.
I've yet to see one where I'm like, meh. Every one of them, like you show up and if I was racing, I'd be like, I'd present that, I'd position it in my house so people see it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just,
Well, I do
it's
think
more,
that is.
it's less of it is a trophy because you're winning it, obviously. But it's like a talking piece. It's like, what
Yeah.
is that? Because it doesn't look like a Boulder's trophy,
Right.
right? It's a piece of art. That's what I look at them as. It's an art piece that you're creating, and so you do want it in the middle of somewhere to talk about. If I should have taken a picture of all my kids' rooms, your trophies are front and center on all their walls. They're just presented where they're just sitting there. And they see them every day. And this year, as they were talking about this year, they're like, I need to add more first place trophies because I have too many second places. I need more first. And
Gotta
so,
even it out.
yeah, they're asking me to build a shelf for this racing season for them to put all their first place trophies.
I like that they're expecting them.
Yeah,
Well-
let's go.
It's the only way to do it.
I mean,
Let's do it.
what's the point? If you're not going to race to get first, I mean, seriously. I know what did you ask me? That's an opposing opinion? What?
I said unpopular.
An
opinion.
unpopular opinion, yes. I feel like you should always intend, even if you know but you should be racing to get first.
Yeah, let's go.
And then if everybody does that, the best wins.
Yeah,
That's right.
love
So-
it.
That's right.
Anyways, you do
And I try
create.
to-
What's that?
I said I try to keep in my mind's eye that I would like for the racers who who collect those trophies and want to display them, like you're describing your kids doing. I want them to be all different. I want them to be unique. I want them to be colorful. So like you guys have a huge trophy case of random things. You don't want them all the same. You don't want a
Right.
bunch of bowling trophies. So
Yeah, I think
that-
that's it.
one thing I started doing was like trying to never make the same trophy twice.
Nice.
Okay. Love that.
And so
smart.
far, I've not seen a repeat.
No, they're totally different.
They're unique.
Well, and I think that's something fun that's about like with the Onewheel community and as these races have developed, like everyone is excited to see what the trophies. We always set them out and like display them so that but like before the race starts, so that everybody gets to see them. You know how we always have a table out there, and I
Sure.
remember Nick saying at Dirt Surfers last year, we need 2 tables because Kevin made so many trophies, and we needed 2 tables to hold all these trophies so everybody could see them. So
Yeah, I think
it's like a thing in the One Wheel.
when you're at the race and you see the first day of the race, you just see all the trophies displayed. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
They
are coveted for sure.
It's a sight. So as race week's kicking off, your first round of people being able to possess a creation of yours is next week. Is that what I'm understanding? Next week, you can get a hold
Correct.
of. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
And they look good.
I know.
Can't wait.
I've yet. Maybe I've missed it, so somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think I've seen a medal trophy yet like that. That'll be for a
like
fun,
as a neck medal.
yeah,
like,
a presentation. That's gonna be great on the podium. Great idea.
Yeah. So, if I could speak to trophies and kind of segue into Dirt Surfers.
Yeah.
So this year, the Dirt Surfers stops. If you know or if you don't know, 3 stops. We got Arkansas, and then Windman, and then Tulsa, and they're all under the Enduro Series, Dirt Surfers Enduro Series flag. All these trophies are going to be similar because they're all part of one race, and we're going to don't have a picture of it to show you, but we are going to have an ultimate trophy. So somebody who wins the top spot of all those races combined will get this. We're going to call it a trophy, but it's more like a shelf that holds all the other trophies.
Yeah.
So it looks like a gigantic, just like a gigantic trophy. So all 3 of them are interlocking to each other.
Oh, so it's like a
Wow.
puzzle. If you get all 3, you can put it together. That sounds awesome, man.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be really cool. And then the secondary races, like the excursion race or the dual slalom at Windman, and then Tulsa's going to have like a dual slalom. Those we're going to also make some wearable medallions that look
Nice.
different, but have their own unique flair to them. So we're going to kind of go that route a little bit on those secondary races.
That's
Second day.
tremendous. Yeah. Yeah. You, other than the, maybe saying it this way, outside of the ORL races, you have the medallions. That's awesome. The metal looking things. So
That's cool.
So when you say the overall winner, is that of age, like pros, amateur, men, all those, or is it okay? So every age group category will have a chance to get that puzzle piece trophy.
Totally. All
That's sweet.
13 categories have that.
No wonder why you're only focusing on those 3 races.
Yeah, right?
You don't have any time.
For sure. But yeah, we're really encouraging, if you can make it to all 3, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
It'll be a cool little spot to make all 3 of those races.
Yeah, I know we're stoked here to be able to go to all 3 of those races. We'll be at all 3. It'll be a fun chance to feel what it feels like to be under the Dirt Surfers umbrella for such a epic races, and then to bank some points for the next racing season. So it'll be fun to have all of those pieces in there. Plus, when you speak of Arkansas and Windman, those are 2 of our favorite spots to race. And then, I mean, Nick's behind it with a team of Dirt Surfers out there in Tulsa. Come on, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be so rad. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so let's ask this question before we move on to more races and things, because we have this Chameleon Rails. Okay, how in the world did you come up with the name Chameleon Rails? Was it just sitting in your basement where you are and go, oh, I want to do just rails, or what? How? Give us a little bit of that journey for you, because we know where you are today in the community, but how'd you start in the community?
Okay, so when we started, I'll be open and honest about it. I was just wanting to do something that was community related, but we started when I think we still had our pluses, our Onewheel pluses, And I was trying to think of a way to swap the colors and the rails and the designs out
Yeah.
very easily. Um, because I mean, you know that those all the other options, the rail guards, you got to glue them on, and if you want to change them, you're simply pulling them off and throwing them in the trash, and then scraping all the glue off.
It's a
And
process.
I thought, yeah, it's a process, especially if you're somebody who wants to look different quite often, which
Yeah.
I kind of like. I like changing it up quite often. So that's where the concept of Chameleon Rails started. The concept without a name, but switching out the covers that go on to your rails. They were metal, so they essentially you take your bumpers and your foot pads off, slide them over the rails, and then put your foot pads and your bumpers back on, and they're just on there. And then when you're ready to change them, you reverse that and you pull them off, and they're made of metal, so you can keep them on the shelf and do whatever you want with them. Now, when the
Ah.
Pint and the GT started coming out, those rails are different. They're rounded. They got grooves here and there, and it's kind of too hard to make a metal cover for those. So that's where we kind of moved into what you would call kind of like a car vinyl wrap.
Yeah.
How people wrap cars in vinyl. So that's kind of similar process of what we are doing, and so we can make all kinds of designs, anything really. And we have those templates for those particular rails, and then you can just change them out. And then we kind of like, which we didn't do a very good job, but we kind of like making race ones where, like, say for instance, this weekend you could have a Lemonade Float Fest 3 one that you can just slap on your board and ride it for the weekend. And when the weekend's over, obviously take them off and move to something else.
Right.
That's kind of that was kind of the idea. And
Which we have
so
a rail here like that you're speaking of.
Yes.
yeah, so that would
That
be the
one's
vinyl
sweet.
version.
Yep. That's what I
And then
to be honest with you, this is what I
That's all we knew.
this is what I knew. I didn't know you did the plus version. Now the plus version I remember, man, those rails were just squared off and you
And
had an
honestly,
option of blue.
yeah, and honestly, if memory serves me correctly, I think one of your children, maybe Legend, I'm not sure, has a trophy from Windman 2 years ago.
Yes?
I think it was maroon, and I used one of our rails for that. That's what that is.
Oh, yeah, that's that
Oh yeah, that
is
makes
in their bunk
sense.
bed. For whatever reason, they have that in the bunk bed. I know what you're talking about because they'll use it out as a sword once in a while. So I know exactly what you're talking
Perfect.
about. So it's still around, and yes, I didn't put it all together. So
Yeah.
okay,
So that would slip over your plus or your XR rail.
yeah, that's slick.
So
And then obviously this you have this option of being able to create. I mean, it's endless now because you just create the template and put it on there. So
right.
at what stage did you come up with the name Chameleon Rails then?
Well, so I was trying to just think of a name that would emphasize the quickness of like being able to change the look
Mm.
of your one wheel, and that kind of came out. Um, just me and my son. He was, oh man, I don't know how old he was. He was maybe 10 at the time. Um, and he said it, and I said, yeah, I think I like that. And then I said, I think we'll go with that. And he honestly, he scurried off to his bedroom and came out like 20, 30 minutes later. And he had that geometric chameleon that we use today on our logo.
Wow.
Which is
He
That's
on
drew
the
that.
thumbnail, I think. We have it behind you. Is that what you're speaking of? If we can put the thumbnail back up, you'll see it behind you. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
even
It's
on
on a
that
shirt.
T-shirt. Yeah,
Your kids are artists too.
That's so
Come
great.
yeah.
on.
I didn't know that
So
There you
about.
go.
he drew that, and that's just been the logo ever since.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
The
That's so cool.
stories behind brands and how they get there are tremendous. Like the Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
logo. I know the guy whose dad made the logo. which is
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
And when you hear the story of how he made that, and you're like, and he charged like, I think it was like $10, some ridiculous. It was so cheap, because at the time, it was the beginning of Chick-fil-A, you know, and him as an artist just turns it over. It's like, yeah, I'll just do this, and now you see where it is today, $5-10 later, with millions of dollars. So that's wild. That's pretty cool. Okay, so the Chameleon Rails is born from your son, and you're off to the races with it. And now you don't do just rails. You have, obviously, we have the hoodies that the ladies. I mean, you have
The
just
waffle hoodies.
yeah.
Best.
It's
I don't
so
know who else. I've
cozy.
never seen waffle hoodies, but besides through
I
you.
haven't either. I like it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that was last year's waffle hoodie, and then this year we have some new ones. No one has any of them yet, because I don't have the full shipment in. But I did throw one in the giveaway box for Lemonade.
Ooh. Is that what we just
so
showed
yeah.
on? Or are those the same as what I'm wearing?
No, I think
That's
that
the
was
same.
last year's,
Yeah, the
right?
one you just showed is the one you're wearing. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
that's
Yeah.
the one.
It was gray or black. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, those are sweet.
Now you have. So these new ones, I like them so much better actually. The waffle is thicker. I think you have a picture of them.
We do. Yep.
And you
In,
got
in three colors now.
Yeah.
Yes, and
I
a
love
zip
that
And it's a zip.
green.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
A zip up, or we have the long sleeve versions too.
Yes, we have a picture of that as well. There's a long
Nice.
sleeve.
So-
Yep.
Okay, but as you drop this, where do people like? I know how easy it is to get these things at the races, but like people watching today, do you have a website, Facebook? Like, can they purchase these things online?
So here's the thing: is we made a Chameleon Rail website, and we got it all the way up to like we even launched it without any products on it. But then I realized I don't really have enough time to monitor that every day with 2 kids, a wife, and a real job. So I'm okay with just selling them at events or sending them to you guys to give away, or
That's awesome.
whatever.
Yeah, we've given a lot of your products away because
We
it's
have.
it's awesome.
I gave another thing away this past weekend. This girl that I know she just loves the stuff.
Yes.
So we gave her one of your fanny packs.
Oh, and you would have thought it was the
She's not even a one-wheeler.
no, but she's come and volunteered.
comes,
yeah.
She has. Yeah.
She's
she's
served
been-
at, or she's part of our team that comes to dirt surfers and windmen
Yeah.
and helps run the race. So she's connected, and she's just like, I love that brand. It's my favorite one wheel brand. And I'm just listening to her go, how do you know of this brand? She's like, I've seen his tent and stuff, and then
Yeah.
he does the trophies.
She probably sees
I
us
just
wearing
want
it.
something of his, and I can't find anything online. And we had just the fanny pack for whatever reason to get given away at Christmas, and so we're like, well, we have this bag. She's like, yes, I would take the order over any Lululemon bag. I was like, okay, we're gonna make sure Kevin knows this, that out of all products, you've made something that this fine lady wants. So great job. You've made a woman's day by making great wearables.
So
I guess.
basically, if anyone's watching and wants some gear, they have to either come to a race that you're at, which this year's at the 3 Dirt Surfer Circuit,
Yeah.
or they need to ask someone who's going to purchase it for them. Is that right?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
you
Yeah.
can
You heard it
message
here.
me on Chameleon Rails Facebook page or Instagram, Chameleon Rails
Right.
Instagram, and we could probably work something out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I'm not hyper ready to just sell stuff online.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We get it. You're like, I don't need that stress in my life. But when you show up to an event, your booth, your tent,
Yeah, it's legit.
it's awesome. I love
You-
coming in there and just chatting.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like those are the limited spots where we can bring some of our stuff. So
Yeah.
rather than I'm not trying to make it a rarity. Like I'm not trying to do that. It's just it's more easy for me.
yeah, but it sure does
We're gonna
feel
commit
like
that weekend.
it sure feels like I can't get it, so it becomes more popular. Oh, you have how'd
yeah.
you get that Chameleon Rail? And it's like, well, you got to be at the events, and so it does bring a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? It brings
It's like nostalgia. It's just
No,
like
no,
It's a hot
it's-
commodity.
a hot
Yes,
commodity.
yes,
So
yes.
great job, good marketing on your part.
And And by no means do I think that you're going to come to a Dirt Surfers event to get a Chameleon Rails
Right.
sweatshirt or a backpack.
You'd be
I'm not living
surprised.
that, but um, but please come and even if you're a spectator, come hang out at the
Yeah,
Dirt
for
Surfers.
sure.
Yeah, Kevin. For those that are watching, he's never selling anything. Actually, he's just talking and chatting,
No,
and then he might go. You might buy something, but you are a man of the people. Would be the way I would say to people is that you love to
Yes.
chat with people and you care about people. I think it's been fun to watch you in the Onewheel community. Lack of a better word, you just have a great capacity to serve. Like.
I have a story on that.
When Nick got hurt at Dirt Surfers last year, you were helping as much as you can, trying to figure out, all right, just any event I've seen you at, Race for the Rail, the last event of the year for Race for the Rail, and you were there just serving away with no strings attached. So thank you for doing that. That's pretty fun to watch, and it's so easy to chat with you. So everybody, go chat with Kevin and just thank him for what he does. You don't have to buy anything.
You'll find him all around. I remember last year at Lemonade, like I think we had met you a couple of times and kind of maybe chatted with you at Dirt Surfers or Windman, one of the two. So kind of got to know you a little bit more. And then I remember being in Austin at Lemonade, and it's just a huge venue. So like everybody's kind of like, you were out with the kids practicing or whatever. Everybody's just kind of like spread out except for this little hub area. And I was over in this area that our car was at. I had my couple little boys, and I was walking down this hill, and I went by the porta potty, and when I turned around and came back, there you were, except you were changing the trash. And I'm like, what is he doing? And he's like, oh, you just looked at me and were like, well, the trash was overflowing. Thought I'd change it. And I was like,
That's awesome.
Kevin rocks. Everywhere you go, it's like whatever needs to be done, you just see it and you just do it. And
Hey,
I love it about
most people, when you would tell stories like that, wait, he's sitting. Ooh, double. There's two of me now.
Oh, that's cool.
When there is when somebody's talking about other people, they tend to smile. And
Yeah,
he's
he's
just
just
so
like-
humble. He's just like, yeah. Let's talk about something other than me. You just are a good.
It just spoke a
quality
lot.
human, my friend. So
it just said a lot about who you are and what you're doing at those races. And
yeah.
And I remember even the next morning when race day, you were off wherever they needed you to be and helping out. And it was
Thanks
yeah,
for doing all that,
speaks
man.
a lot.
Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Like, what is it about you? Do you just have an eye for where there's a need and you jump in?
Well, I just feel called to, help
Yeah.
when you see a need, feel a need.
Yeah.
If there's something that needs to be done, I kind of feel like if anybody was to do something that's not their responsibility 5 times in a day, then everything would get done.
Yeah, true.
That's good. That's a good way to think
Everything
of
would
it.
get done. So if it's not your responsibility and you just do 5 different things that aren't your responsibility, there would be no trash to pick up. There would be nothing to do. It would
Yeah,
all get
wow.
done.
Yeah, that's good. That's a
So-
good parenting hack too. If you teach your kids that, man, walk by the garbage can and then you take it out if it's full. I maybe we'll replay this clip, Kevin, for our children, and say, listen to Kevin from Chameleon Rails. No, okay. So you're a man of the community. You're connected to all these races, and you're in for Dirt Surfers. Maybe we'll catch you on some of those fringe things, but you still love this community, and you know so much about the community and all the races, and you've traveled to a bunch of different ones. Do you have ones that stand out to you, like this is a great, outside of Dirt Surfers, these are great races, or is it, man, they're all the same to you? Can you pick a favorite? And maybe I'm not asking a favorite, but things you like about different venues as you've traveled. Do you have any thoughts?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, Dirt Surfers will always be top notch.
Yeah.
And that's just maybe a little bias showing because Nick and I have grown really close, and we're working hand in hand really hard on making this 2025 season something different and unique. But that's not the question.
But hey,
Question you
that's
asked
true
was,
around here, though. We don't hide our just what we prefer. I guess it would be preferences the way, not so much favorites. It's just we really like dirt surfers as a family. It feels like that's a spot where we've been to, and it's like, oh man, it just checks all the boxes. Same with Windman, checks all the boxes. We haven't made it to all of them. Texas is a good one. But when somebody's going, which one? I'm always pointing people to dirt surfers, Arkansas, and now Windman, and then man, it's not hard.
It's a
for me.
no-brainer that Tulsa's going to be great.
'cause
It's
you
a
just-
no-brainer.
You know Nick, and you know Rachel, and the team that's surrounded there. It's a no-brainer. So okay, that one's off the list. Dirt surfers, we've given
Okay.
it. It's now what? What would be another tier one?
So yeah, I can't really mention Windman because that's part of the Dirt Surfers collab
Yeah.
there. So Float Life Fest, Justin does a great job with trying to manage all those moving parts that he has for Float Life Fest. And actually, Float Life Fest 4 is actually the first one wheel event I ever went to, and it still is my favorite one. I don't know if it's because it was my first one, but it's just a good time. Like you meet so many different people there, and that's kind of where those connections were started to form there. Just because there's so many different people from all different parts of the one wheel community. So Float Life Fest is always good. And then
And that-
Lemonade last year.
Ooh, well, hold
First
on,
time I went to Lemonade.
Float Life Fest is in South North Carolina, right down there, right somewhere.
North Carolina. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's
North Carolina.
end of the
Now-
season.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I got it right here. It's September 11th through the 14th.
Yeah,
this year.
man, there's a lot of races right there in September,
There
October,
is. They're
which
all-
is
It's
is great.
It's kind of, yeah. There's a lot. But-
yeah.
And I'm not downplaying any of the other races. I just haven't been any to the out west.
Yeah.
I haven't been to those because you can't. It's hard to hit all of them. I'm not
Yes.
saying it's impossible. Because a lot of those racers, they commit their time
Their
to
whole- yeah.
that.
It's a long drive, you know, like you, myself, we're in the Midwest, and you're driving with an entire tent of stuff, and we're driving with 8 kids and a bunch of one wheels and stuff, so you can't fly. So now it's driving, and to drive all the way up to California, we did that for Race with Rails, and that was great and fun. But we weren't racing. We got to come out and, similar to you, help out with the race and be around that. Very different than knowing you're going to show up and have to race or those different pieces. So it's hard to make those journeys. Texas is pretty far. How long of a drive to Austin was it for you last year?
I think it was 8 hours,
Oh,
10 hours, 10
Okay.
hours.
okay. Yeah, so it's double for us to get there. And we can do that. That's about, I think, 18 hours or something around there. If we only stop for gas, that means there's no sleeping. You just get through, but then you just pay the price while you're there. But that's about the extent we can make. That's like, okay, it's not wiping you out when you get back home and stuff. So it is just hard to get out to California side. Those races look epic.
Well, by the time you get out
Yeah.
there, they do look amazing. By the time you get out there, I mean, you really need almost 4 or 5 travel days. And
Yeah,
then it's like you need
right, feels
another
better.
week. So that would,
Like, I
it's
would
just,
love to be there, let it ride. I would
know,
love to be out
I know.
there. It's just not in the cards. So
And we also talked about, like, if we were to go out there, well, the kids want to go too. So if we're going to go, all of our kids, I mean, this is what we like to do together. So it's like, for you and I just to go feels
Yeah.
like, meh.
right. No, you would give them a chance.
We
Okay.
want the kids there.
So
It's really not about picking and choosing which ones are best because that's unfair. Because unless you've been to them all multiple times, it's hard to gauge which one's best. And they're all
Right.
different. Like you have a festival vibe for some of them, and then you have strictly racing vibe on other ones. So it's really your kind of cup of tea. Which, let's just be honest, that's good because they're not all the same. Like you wouldn't want all of them to be exactly the same. So
For sure.
yeah,
But-
I think each race has its own personality, brings in its. obviously you're going to get those racers that race and they're going to come. But then when you have the festivals, you do pull in people that come in there for the bands and the people. So it is, I like the race directors putting their personalities in there and being able to offer the race side of it, but also offering a side for spectators. And so I agree with you. You're saying it quite well, is obviously our preferences go to where we've been, and it's not a slam on the ones we haven't been at. And I appreciate that there's those races for those that are local, because people can't get to Wisconsin. The same issue for those from California to Wisconsin. That's a tough drive for them, and so I get it, I understand.
But
so.
if you've gone, Garrett will tell you, if you've come from California to Wisconsin, it's amazing.
Yeah, Garrett is one of the guys that in the chat a lot of weeks, and he went to Wisconsin, and then he had a layover here for a while. It was great to have him out on our property hanging and riding one wheels together. So if that is an offer to most people that are driving from California. You can make a pit stop right here.
Got you.
So, okay, so let's ask this. In a week, weather great, in a week time, are you riding your one wheel once a day? What's the barometer for you on a one wheel? Is it once a week at least if the weather's great? In the summer, is it all the time? Like, what percentage of you and yourself are on a board?
That's a great question. So when the weather's great, as you stated, which is in the summer, you're like,
Yeah.
in probably another 3 weeks, we'll have great weather all the way up until school starts, and then some. So we actually live less than a mile from our church. So on Sundays and Wednesdays, me and my two kids, we'll just ride to church on our one wheels.
Nice.
Love it.
Ha! That's great.
It's not. But then we also we are very hyper focused on family trips, my wife and our two kids. And we typically will find places to go that have awesome riding. So at that point, we're riding on those trips. We're riding one wheels every day. So we don't have necessarily like every Monday at 8:00 I'm out riding. Like I don't have that, but we have different routines. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Again, I think it's a new question we're going to start asking those is like how much time you ride on one wheel, because I think some people have a perception that if you like the community and you ride every day. Now, last year that was a case for us around here as we made it a gold rider one wheels every day. This year is very different, and I'm glad we weren't riding every day this year. Just life has been a little bit of. It was just a lot of life happening, and it would have been a very difficult thing to do, and the weather has been worse than it was last year. So we haven't rode near as much. We all keep talking about we're going to show up in Texas next week with no sun on our skin and not many miles on our boards, and so it'll be interesting.
But I do have a feeling that once those miles kick off in Texas, it'll be like game on. The kids will ride every day and want to practice more.
I hope the weather is great. Our trails, because you get so much snow up here in Minnesota, and as it melts, and then the ground, little weather reporting for you, Kevin, the ground is still frozen as it melts. And so I think it usually is until June, middle of June, does the frost. It's a big deal around here. They make a big deal that the frost is finally out of the ground. You can plant things. So it's like June this happens. Until then, if you get too much rain, it all sits on top of the ground because it can't get through the frost. And so right now, as everything's thawing, all the snow that's melted just sits on top of everything. So it's muddy. Everywhere's muddy. You can love trails, but there is not a trail in Minnesota right now, unless it's homegrown trails, not open. No mountain bikers can hit trails right now. They are just shut down probably till May.
And you can ruin the trails. There's good reason.
Well, yeah, I'm not complaining. It's just the way the life goes around here.
How it is.
We go from treaded tires to slick tires because we're all on the asphalt. And that's just the way it goes, Kevin. It's just the way it is.
Well, not to go down a rabbit hole, but I remember going on a youth trip with our youth kids, taking our youth kids from church to a camp in Wisconsin, and it might be first couple of times I'd ever been to Wisconsin, but I had learned of the practice of putting a frozen car out on the lake.
Oh yeah,
and then people like the townspeople would just like bet on like when it's going to fall through the lake.
Yep.
And I thought that was such a wild local thing to do.
Yeah, so that's illegal in Minnesota, but we follow
I
it.
think it's illegal everywhere, but
Well, they do clean the cars, but what it is, I don't. I mean, it's still. I've never researched. I would assume it's rusting and stuff underneath there, but they're saying it creates habitat for the car or for fish. But I mean, it's a big deal around here for people wagering on just a normal ice out. Like here in Minnesota, people are always going, when do you think this lake, because every lake freezes differently. So you do take bets on when do you think the ice will be completely off the lake. And so it's a thing up up here. When do you think it'll be out? And every year it's so unpredictable. It's the luck of the draw. I mean, one year we had a foot of ice on Mother's Day on the lakes. That's
it was cold.
That's cold. We are fortunate this year we had a little over 3 feet of 3 feet of ice on the lakes. And for the most part, in the Twin Cities area, more north, still frozen, but in the Twin City area, lakes are thawed. And we have a puppy running around here, and he's never seen an unthawed lake. To him, they were all ice. He went out a week ago or so, jumped off the dock, and the ice held him for a split second. And then he went through, which meant I had to go through the ice to get him because he couldn't get himself back up on the ice.
Because all he heard was, "Save the puppy! Get the puppy!"
All 8 kids losing their mind because we have a puppy.
Our puppy!
Yeah. That's the life.
So you had to jump in.
I live on a big lake too. We live on a big lake, but it never if it freezes, you'll see ice on it, but you would not want to walk out on it because then you'd be wet.
Oh, so it never gets thick enough to walk on.
No.
Yeah. Okay. We have we have a couple places in our house because ice here changes life. Meaning there are roads that are put across bigger lakes, especially more north you get. They put roads through the lakes, so it cuts people's commutes down. It's wild to see this transformation of new roads popping up across the ice. But we have all of these little images that tell us 3 inches of ice you can walk on no problem. 5 to 6 inches of ice you can take a snowmobile, like a small snowmobile, small 4-wheeler. You just know the levels. Once you hit a little bit over a foot, it's kind of game on about anything can be drove on there, which is a wild thought. You got 1 foot of ice and all of a sudden I can drive my car on it. Yeah. It's kind of wild. So that's the life around here. That's us in Minnesota. But we are people that take our one wheels out on the lake and ride when there's just a thin layer of snow on the ice is quite fun. So Kevin, we've had you for about an hour. Do you have things you want to cover and talk about before we let you go? Because we know you are a man on mission creating stuff, and we don't want to take you away from that. You got a family to get to and stuff. But do you have things you're like, hey, I wanted to mention this before I go?
I do.
Okay.
The number one thing I want to mention is I think you guys have a screenshot of that badge, the
race badge, yes.
Like lanyard. Yeah,
if
you could show that,
we're putting it up right now.
That'd be awesome. So this is something that we're doing for the Dirt Surfers Enduro Series, and that's badge on the front there, that compass. It kind of has a picture of each little stop that we have. We have Jesus there for Arkansas, and then Windman trees up there at the top, and then the turkey for Tulsa. And that's just kind of our race logo this year. And on the back, it is in black and white. But then over there on the side, you see that there's stickered versions of that. So at each race, when you get one of these badges, at each race, you can put the colored version on top of there. And then so by the end of Tulsa, if you have gone to all 3 races, you're going to have that thing fully colored.
That's awesome.
Then what we are going to do is for anybody who has that fully filled out and their colored stickers that have been to all 3 races, they're going to be entered into a big prize, and we're going to like a prize pot. So I'm going to donate one of everything that Chameleon Rails has, and we're going to try to collect at least an item or 2 from each sponsor along all the stops.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
So there's going to be a huge prize pot of things. But here's the kicker is that at Arkansas, last year, the Float Life had donated all those hats for the racing.
Yep.
And for the first 100 people that registered, or checked in, I should say, there on Friday morning, they got a hat. Well,
Yep.
this year we're going to take those. This year we're going to take those hats. And we're actually going to sell them, but all that money is going to go towards the prize pot for the race. So to
And
replace the hats, we're putting the first 100 of those badges in the bags. So the first 100 people will get those, and then we only have another 100. That's all we have to sell. They're going to be $10. So if
Okay.
anybody wants to buy one, there's only 100 of them to buy. The other 100 is going to be given away at the Arkansas race. So
I like
that's
this
kind
idea.
of it's something that we came up with that kind of encourages people to come to all the races, but it also is just a cool thing to try to collect. And
Yeah.
everybody likes their racing lanyard things that they get from events.
yeah.
That's a great
I kind
idea.
of put a poll out a month or two ago to see if people like to collect those things, and no one really responded saying no. I throw those things away.
I was gonna say
So
we have our race for the
I
rails.
have my race for the rail one sitting right here.
there.
yeah, I see it hanging back there
Mine's in
every
my
week.
closet.
Yeah.
In my cabinet.
So anytime we get those that are memorable, like the kids, I could see the Legend and Epic. They were back there going, "Okay, I want that."
Yeah.
So I think it's going to take off.
Okay, so you said at Dirt Surfers, this is the kickoff. Arkansas is the first Dirt Surfers race. The first 100 to check in. I run check in, so I need to remember
do.
that.
Yeah.
Which I'll be there to help you do that. But yeah,
No, that's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
great.
first 100 people, and then so the next 100 of them, they'll be for sale. And then I should state that money that we get from the ones that we sell are also going to go to a prize pot. Probably, we don't know exactly yet, but probably at the end of like the Tulsa race, like the ultimate,
Yeah.
Yeah.
ultimate champion.
Okay.
It's
So
going to go
just-
somewhere. That money's going to go somewhere into a prize somewhere.
Someone's going to get
Someone's
this
gonna
money.
get
So,
some money.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this then
Someone's
you
gonna
get
the money.
love it. You're gonna get the badge, and then at Arkansas you would get your colored sticker for that. Then when you show up to Windman at registration or somehow you would get your colored sticker for that, and then the same thing with Tulsa, and then Tulsa's the big giveaway. Right?
So, yes.
Okay.
However, yes, that's correct. However, I think you won't necessarily have to get your sticker at check-in at Windman. You could probably just come to my
Just when
booth
yeah.
for ability. Yeah,
Love
not
it.
everybody's crowding around the check-in thing.
Yeah. Getting the sticker.
Love it.
I'll have those stickers. So, yeah, I just think that's
Super
a cool
cool.
idea. Just a kind of a new concept.
Yeah. I can see this being
Since
repeated.
we have a new concept of racing.
Yeah.
Love it. That's great.
I remember again what I'm watching with dirt surfers is very similar to what a couple of the Ironman circuits would do. If you do the half Ironman of the full and the full together, you got your badge complete. If you only do, so I've seen that Disney does a version of that. If you run a marathon at all of their parks, you get a built medal by doing both of them. You have to let them know at the beginning of the season, hey, I'm going to run in Disneyland and in Disney World. And so they start you with a different medal. And so I see that all in play. And it does become a small incentive to go, okay, I'm going to go do that second one because of the uniqueness of I did that. Not everybody can do that, right? There's some people that won't be able to do all three. And that's going to make them go, I want to because I want something memorable like that. So good job. That's
Love
a great
it.
job.
That's so great.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. So those hats are going to be $30, and again, all that money goes to
Into
the
a
prize. So that's probably what I had
Okay.
for you for
Great.
dirt surfers. Something about float life, or I'm
Yep.
sorry, wheel scorcher.
Wheel
Wheel
Scorcher.
scorcher that I thought. Yeah, Justin had told me. Or for one, it's back at Cherokee Fire Mountain, which probably means nothing to you if you've never been to Wheel Scorcher, but that's actually the very first Wheel Scorcher I was ever at. Was there, which is cool. But I say all that to say is that Sunday on a race on Sunday, he's got a race. I don't know what he's going to call it, but it's essentially starting at the bottom of the mountain and racing up,
Ooh.
getting to the top, and then racing back down. So bottom to top to bottom. The fastest time. There are going to be prizes for the fastest time. I
I
think
could
that's a cool
see,
concept.
yeah, I could see that a tale of two races. Somebody's going to be great at racing up, and somebody's going to be better at racing down. And did you make a big enough difference up to beat the? That'll be fun to watch, actually.
Right. Yeah. And he said that's got like 5+ miles to it. So
Uh,
that's kind of a gnarly race.
Yeah, and now we have boards that can do this. That'll be a fun race to just see what happens. I'm starting to like where we're seeing a lot of these events going. They're going, hey, let's not just we'll do these race to the rail races, and then let's come and do on Sunday a unique style race, and it'll continue to push the sport. So that's pretty cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kevin. Well, thank you so much for hanging with us today. Thank you for creating such great merch. I don't know if that's what you're calling it, but because you don't really sell it, you tend to give it. You just do great, man. The T-shirts that you make, that's one of my favorite shirts. Like, it is the softest material ever. So you find high quality items and then you put your logo on it. That's pretty cool.
Good.
And thank you for befriending us and being kind to send your stuff here that we can send all over the place. Thank you for the sign. You're very, very kind, Kevin. And
You're so good for the community.
Yeah.
So good. We love having you part of the community and have loved the time to be able to get to know you and your family. We
Yep.
got to meet them at Dirt Surfers last year. Love it.
So I guess this is us signing
Well,
off.
thanks
with
for
you.
having me.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
can't
good
believe
time.
it's taken this long. Our
What
bad.
were we thinking?
We will see you. We're saying bye today, but we'll see you at Dirt Surfers in what is it, like
A month?
a month and a
2
half,
month-
or
month and
maybe
a half?
2 months?
I
May.
think you froze. I'm all
I
frozen.
froze. Oh no, that's not good. He froze. So we're saying goodbye to Kevin. He's still there on our and we
And
must
we
have
could hear
froze
him.
to him. And so hopefully everyone at home is doing great as he signs off and we go to full screen there. Everybody at home, thanks for being with us.
Thanks,
Holly,
Kevin.
thanks for being with us today.
Lee Weber just jumped in and he wanted to tune in to see your stash.
See if it's made it this far. Yeah, as it's gone on now a week, people are asking it, oh, this is to stay. And I was like, well, I've got so
Evidently.
much negative pushback that if I shaved it off prematurely, I would have been peer pressured.
Yeah, of course.
You can't be peer pressured.
You'd be listening to the negative.
Right, yes,
So-
exactly.
He's asking if you're going to upgrade to the mustache rails.
Man, that's a good one, actually. Oh, man, maybe.
Lee, you are always so very funny.
Thank you for being comical.
Yes.
And appreciate you. For all those that are tuning in late and stuff, we announced some cool stuff that's happening with Scot Mendenhall and Friends. We'll reiterate that really quick for all of you because we just want to make sure everybody knows. We have rebranded. We have a new logo. It's SMF, and you're going to figure it out now. Last week, we introduced it. That's the new logo. You're going to see this popping up everywhere. If we can put that on the screen, that'd be great. SMF stands for Scot Mendenhall and Friends, plus a couple other things. And so today we're really excited to announce Scot Mendenhall and Friends is also Scot Mendenhall and Family, Scot Mendenhall and Faith. And all three of these places now have a destination. This is Scot Mendenhall and Friends. We're leaving it just Scot Mendenhall. It's Onewheel content. But we know that some of you know what we do for other side of things in life, and we're trying to separate where people can find that content. We have already content about parenting and family ideas. So we have a YouTube channel that's called Scot Mendenhall and Family. And this is where we're going to do a family podcast where we're going to talk about raising kids. You can already go there, and there's, I think, 5 already shorts sitting there about parenting from the ages of 5, then 5 to 12, 12 to 18, and 18 to forever. And we just give some hacks there how to parent. We got a podcast that we're currently working on that will drop there, talking about all kinds of parenting. How do you raise kids in an iPad, iPod world. So we're going to give you those hacks and things right there. So subscribe to that one. And then we have Scott Mendenhall on Faith. This is where we talk about our relationship with Jesus and how we really honestly believe that he makes your life better and makes you better at life. And that sits on the Scott Mendenhall on Faith channel. So people can kind of separate the content and go, I just want this and I want just this. And go get subscribed to it. The way you subscribe is you go to this channel, Scott Mendenhall, go down to the links and you can find Scott Mendenhall Family and Scott Mendenhall Faith and go and subscribe to him as the content will drop 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, Tuesday through Friday. We haven't figured out that rhythm. Now we're in charge of 3 channels and just trying to grow those, but really able to serve everybody in a good quality way. And then we also have a new race jersey that we're going to be selling here shortly.
What?
We'll debut it at our first
Lemonade.
race of the season, which is Lemonade Float Fest right here. We're pretty stoked on that. So stay tuned for that. That is not the real version. That's a prototype. If you pause it to read everything, you're going to go, oh, that's misspelled. We fixed all of that. We just were in a hurry to make that moving image for you. So we're excited about that. And then a little bit of, as you're hanging with us still, there's some more news that we want to make you aware of, which is Onewheel is offering a trip of a lifetime.
Woohoo.
I mean, this thing,
This
it
looks
sounds
amazing.
rad. It looks amazing. How do I get on this thing? Can I just be an honorary guest? But here it is. Maybe you missed it on their socials, but it is, if we can put it on the screen, that would be wonderful. And they're even calling it the Onewheel Dream Destination, September 3rd through the 8th, 2025. Look at that landscape. You're going to go over. I wonder if that's where they're going to hold Race for the Rails.
Ooh.
Because but I think the race is in August this year, so I'm not saying that. That was me making it up. But anyways, you can. I think it's the first 12 that pays money to go do that. You won't be disappointed. I mean, come on, if it would work with my schedule, I'd be there. Epic stuff happening there. And then also a cool collab happening with the Float Life and the Chillest. They announced this on Monday or Tuesday. We have the Chillest hoodie, but they're collabing together. They're like-minded people, and so I think it's a limited run of quality items, hats, hoodies, and things of that nature. You can go to thefloatlife.com to check out all of those things. The video that they do is pretty clever as well. And so there's some of the latest news that's trending around. Make sure you tune into Let It Ride's Instagram handle to follow all of the who's, ins, and outs and winnings of the weekend out there just outside Las Vegas. So it'll be fun to see that. We'll report next week all the good things we hear about that. Everybody, stay safe out there. Get out there, ride your Onewheel today. Holly, thanks for sitting with us today.
Yeah, always.
Thanks for having your hair done fun. And Lily had to step out. She put her hair up in a bun and hit the road. She had to get things ready for this evening. So we love everybody. Kevin, once again, thank you for hanging with us. Sorry you froze there. We will see you at Dirt Surfers. Kevin, have a great one, everybody. Adios.
Bye.